Daryl Jones is a pro baseball player. I met him at the Great American Speak Off finals. We both were in the final list among the 27,000 people who auditioned to compete in the Great American Speak Off. After Florida, I ran into him when he was speaking at Speak Up Arizona event wherein we both were speakers again. He talks a lot about motivation, mindset, affirmations. I was able to sit down with him and we were able to relate those to businesses and how parents can help the kids become what they want to achieve.
It's always fun though to be able to play in front of a lot of people.
Your story was so compelling. You talked about your mom, how she helped you.
And she'd cook us food, and it was very strategic, I think, what she did. And she was always creating this atmosphere of tapered down on that a little bit, and I saw a difference in my attitude, and then I got back on it, and that's when things took off in the positive direction.
But
So
those affirmations really helped me stay focused. You feel like your physical body is able to, might not cooperate as sharp, but your mental sharpness is still there. How do you cope with that kind of scenario? Me and my wife decided to retire because we thought, okay, we are satisfied with the income that we are having to earn with the assets that we have.
these things with my
And then
mother, and it puts a lot of stress on the family. And because they're trying to invest in their child, they want their child to do well, and the parents take a toll for it. So I think being able to create a framework, man.
I'm so happy you came to be one of the keynote speakers, and I was one of the speakers at the Speak Up Arizona with Atlas and Randy, and we are so excited. I am excited to share a stage with somebody of your stature and who has accomplished so much. First, I want to know what it means to be a professional athlete, being in the limelight.
It means a lot. When you're playing sports a lot, you're in the limelight as it is, and so you actually kind of get used to it. I've been playing this game since I was 6 years old, and you're used to playing in front of fans, you're used to doing all the workouts and tryouts and playing in front of other coaches, and so you get used to climbing up the ladder. It's not like somebody just threw us in there, in front of thousands of people. You kind of get hardened to it. You have to work yourself, so your skin gets tough to it, as you grow up. I will say this: it's always fun though to be able to play in front of a lot of people, but it's a lot easier knowing that this is kind of what you've been doing your entire life.
I mean, what's more interesting for me is I heard the story. Your story was so compelling. You talked about your mom, how she helped you bring up all the disciplines and how she tickled your feet to wake you up. I want to hear a little bit about that story.
So, as I said, I remember the days we'd get up in the morning and my mother would always wake us up and she'd tickle our feet, get us laughing. And so right away we're in a good mood. And then she'd have the music playing for us as me and my sister would walk to the breakfast table in the morning, and she'd cook us food. And it was very strategic, I think, what she did. And she was always creating this atmosphere of confidence. We'd go into the bathroom, there'd be papers on the walls talking about attitude and, being confident, and everywhere we go. And I remember right before we walk out of the house, she'd give us a hug, tell us how good we looked, and then we'd get in the car, and then she'd make us say, we recite a list of affirmations on the way to school and singing songs. And so I didn't realize how powerful that was until you get a little bit older and you see just the difference between, I remember the attitude that I would have and the way I would carry myself in high school. I always remember, I would always say that I felt like I was my most confident as a person in high school, middle school and high school, because those are the years that I really were into the affirmations and all that stuff. And, when I got into pro ball, I kind of like tapered down on that a little bit, and I saw a difference in my attitude, and then I got back on it. And that's when things took off in a positive direction for me. So I knew it was something that my mom knew something that was working for me.
So affirmations are big in my life also. You know what I do right now? In my bathroom mirror, I write little quotes with a marker, and then I wipe it off, and then my kids are making fun of me. But those affirmations really help me stay focused. When you are playing at a pro level, right? You have so much of competition, and then after that, you kind of you have to retire, kind of retire early, in the sense that you still have the energy, you feel like your physical body is able to, might not cooperate as sharp, but your mental sharpness
Yeah.
is still there. How do you cope with that kind of scenario?
Well, in my case, I didn't handle it too well. So I ended up retiring a lot earlier just because I had injuries. And so I was kind of forced out of the sport, and now that really hit home with me. And I was talking on the way over here to the Uber driver because he had owned several sports bars in this area, and it was crazy the similarities when we were talking about leaving his bars behind, me leaving baseball behind, because we both understood that our identity was tied into what we were doing, and so it was very difficult to kind of split up, who we were versus what we were doing, and I struggled with that for a long time, for a few years. I went from being a professional athlete to now, taking care of a family of four, and never really truly getting a chance to settle that closure. It was immediately going from this to that. And so, I'll be honest, I struggled with it for a lot of years, and it wasn't until, in recent years that I really started finding purpose again and really building myself back up. But again, like you alluded to before, the affirmations and really speaking those things over my life and getting a visual of where I wanted to go helped dig me out of what I used to be, if that made sense.
See, you are living a totally different world, because I live in a world of wealth building, running a business, and you are in a totally different world of sports. But then I see there is a lot of similarity.
Yeah.
With affirmation, of course, then the recalibration.
Yes.
Recalibration in the
Yes.
sense, even we went through a phase wherein me and my wife decided to retire, because we thought, okay, we are satisfied with the income that we are having to earn with the assets that we have. And then we stepped back, and then we jumped on to documenting our journey. So that means we are recalibrating the legacy that we want to build. Every human has to aspire to build a legacy.
Yes.
And you already have the foundation of legacy, because I searched your name before the interview, because I'm not a sports guy, and there you have it, your name, your date of birth, what you accomplished. It's all there on Wikipedia for the world to see. So you have established the foundation, and I congratulate you for that.
Thank you.
And then the recalibration that you're talking about, I feel that you already made it in your life, but you feel that there is something more that you have to do. So I want to hear about your dreams, so that our audience can at least cheer and support you for your dreams.
Absolutely. I wanted to touch on something real quick too, because you mentioned about the image, what you see, and so what I left out, even in my speech, is so my mother actually, she created this folder, and it had a picture of a baseball player. At the time, his name was Albert Pujols. He was one of the top guys. He's a Hall of Famer. But what she did was she cut his face out of the poster and put my face on it.
Wow.
And so at 15, I'm seeing myself in a St. Louis Cardinals uniform over and over again, and getting that image in me. And guess who I got drafted by? Was the St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I'll show you. I have a picture of it in my phone later on, but I'll show you the exact image that she made. And I use that as a visual to help when I go speak other places, to show them that, the image that you create on the inside is what you end up, bringing out on the outside. And that's why it's important for us to see what we want to be, if that makes sense.
That totally makes sense. And before the podcast, you gave me a lot of good business advice, in the sense that I told you that, hey, this is our building, we own this building, and we have the offices, this is where we are hosting this conference. And then I also shared with you that I want to inspire other entrepreneurs. You doled out all these suggestions of, why are you not showing the building to everybody? Why are you not showing all the speakers and how you're making a difference? So you doing it, you are like a terrific coach also, I thought.
Yes.
Because you really, with no additional trigger, you're helping me, who is like a stranger. We just met. You're a speaker, I'm a speaker, and we really didn't have any obligation to each other to talk about. And then you obliged to join me on my podcast. So I want to know, what's the mindset? Like, what are you thinking when you're talking to people? You're thinking about helping them all the time? That's a great attitude, and congratulations.
Thank you. I wouldn't go as far as saying I'm thinking about helping them all the time. I mean, I love helping people, but I think what happens is you start having genuine conversations. and you start getting to know people. You're sharing, I'm sharing. I think the more genuine we become, real life answers start coming out. You look for reasons to try to help people. I wouldn't say that I have got it perfect where I'm saying, hey, I'm gonna go up to this person, I'm gonna make sure I go help this guy, because I don't really know what you want. But as you start to talk and we gauge each other, and we start asking more questions, it opens the doors up for, hey, have you tried this, have you tried that? And then it comes off as really, hey, I'm just trying to give you ideas to help, what I think would be helpful here. And I just think that's the way to do it.
He has accomplished a lot, and then he's coaching other young athletes to become pros in baseball, right? And then he runs into somebody from a different world like me, and then we talk, and then he starts to offer advice, while here I'm also trying to offer my advice. I think that's what everybody of us has to aspire to, wherein you help people around you with what you know. I know wealth building, and I was talking about the businesses we run and how we run the businesses, and then he helped me with giving ideas on what he knows about how to get more exposure and inspire others to what we are doing. So Daryl, now I want to learn about your dreams. Like, what can we see Daryl Jones do in the next 5-10 years?
The next 5-10 years. So what I'm doing is, obviously I'm expanding my speaking business, but really this generation, I really want to help families. Right now, as I told you before, I have a family flying in to Florida. I mean, from Florida, and I really want to help them throughout the process of helping their position their child for success in the baseball arena. But what that entails, a lot of times parents, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to go through it. I grew up as a single parent. I mean, in a single parent household, having to learn all these things with my mother, and it puts a lot of stress on the family. And because they're trying to invest in their child, they want their child to do well, and the parents take a toll for it. So I think being able to create a framework for the parents where they can help, have help along the way, and understand that they can take control of the process, and they don't have to be subject to, the organizations that they play for, or as we said, Randy talked about earlier today, waiting for somebody to call their name instead of call. He said he calls it calling your own name.
Yes.
Understanding the process to where I can intentionally position myself and my family for success, because I understand something about the process that maybe someone else didn't know. I think if we can help families do that, it'll make the overall experience so much better, as well as helping parents understand how to be more like a leader than just a parent, and leading by that means positioning their child for what's best for them versus what's best for themselves. If that makes sense.
Yes, and also, like, every kid might not be gifted in sports, and
Right.
you as a coach need to figure out
Yes.
if this child has a potential,
Yeah.
or maybe the parents are too pushy. So you have to
Yeah.
also communicate that, and a coach like you will be a blessing for any parent, because you've been there, done that, you've seen a wide variety of people. So how can people get hold of you?
So I'm on Facebook, Daryl Jones, Daryl Jones on Facebook. I'm most active on Instagram right now. It's at the Daryl Jones.
That's great. For people who are hearing this from all over the country and the world, you are based out of Houston.
Yes.
And you coach people, kids in Houston.
Yeah.
For somebody who is out of Houston, do they have any services that you provide?
I just started the Athletepreneur program, and that is the online coaching program that we are, we're testing out right now, because we really want to get a hold of the athletes and help them understand that being an athlete is just like being an entrepreneur. You have to understand the overall scope of it, and you have to understand yourself and know how to maneuver yourself within the marketplace and position yourself for that, to maximize your potential.
Awesome. Daryl, I enjoyed meeting you. I'm excited about your dream. I'm excited about the fact that you have a way to help people from all over the country remotely. And if you're in Houston, if you have a child or if you want to be a pro athlete, make sure you talk to Daryl. If you're an entrepreneur, if you want to build a business, also talk to him, because there is a lot of things that he talked about in the keynote that I've heard him speak about attitude, about things that you can do to improve yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks
And
for
do you
having
have any parting words?
Man, The biggest thing I would say is understand who you are and who you aren't. Because not just who you are, but who you aren't, because it'll save you a lot of time and a lot of effort. You don't spend. We live in a world right now where everybody's trying to be like everyone else, and your uniqueness is what makes you valuable. And if you can understand what makes you unique, what causes you to stand out, that is what's going to make you most valuable, and you're most valuable where you add the most value. So that's where I get.
That's that the last nugget is so powerful. If I'm able to figure out that I'm not a pro athlete early in my life, you can save lot of heartache, or an artist if you figure it out early. It also holds with even businesses, but regardless of it, you cannot stop trying. You have to keep trying. And thank you for watching. And Daryl, I appreciate your
Thank you
time.
very much for having me.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.